Max Verstappen, Red Bull ace set target as F1 expert gives Hamilton, Vettel title verdict. That's according to Sky Sports F1 pundit Karun Chandhok. Verstappen is undoubtedly Red Bull's #1 driver after Daniel Ricciardo's departure to Renault, and he will be looking to continue the kind of form with which he ended 2018. The Dutchman ended the year with 6 podium finishes in the last 8 races, including 1 win. It was a total contrast to how the 20-year-old began the year, having been in several high-profile clashes, including one with Hamilton in Bahrain and a massive collision with Ricciardo in Azerbaijan. Verstappen's attacking style and sheer pace has seen him long tipped to become a future world champion, and Red Bull showed their faith with a contract that pays him only less than multiple-time world champions Hamilton and Vettel in the bumper deal Ricciardo signed with Renault. But Chandhok, who raced 11 times in F1 in 2010 and 2011, thinks that Verstappen and Red Bull will not be able to compete with the Ferrari and the Mercedes just yet. That's with the Austrian energy drink company's team having swapped from Renault engines to Honda power units for this season onwards. Yet Chandhok believes Verstappen and new teammate Pierre Gasly can aim to win at least 4 of the year's 21 races, with Mexico and Monaco penciled in as key winning opportunities. Chandhok told Sky Sports, "I'm not sure if they're going to be able to challenge for the title, but I think I'd be disappointed if they didn't win 4 or 5 races this year. They've shown good reliability in pre-season testing, which tells you they can turn the engine up a bit more perhaps. The chassis, we know there's nothing wrong with the Red Bull chassis, there hasn't been for years. You get to a non-power sensitive track like Mexico last year or Monaco and they're right there, locking out the front row. Ultimately I think they might need another year for the relationship to settle in, but they should win a few races. When we get to Q2 and they start to crank the engines up, that's when the story will start to unfold of where Honda. The rumors are they found 15 kilowatts over the winter, that's potentially half the deficit to Mercedes and Ferrari. But we'll see." Next news: Verstappen handed new chassis ahead of FP3. Max Verstappen will race a new chassis from Saturday's final practice onward after Red Bull opted to change his overnight. Verstappen declared that he was pretty happy with his Friday's running at the Australian Grand Prix. The Dutchman, who was 3rd quickest behind the Mercedes drivers in FP2, added that the balance of the car is good, we did a lot of laps and our pace is fine. However, overnight Red Bull have given him a new chassis. According to reports, the Milton Keynes squad knew prior to Friday's play that they would need to carry out a complete survival cell change. They did so before submitting the scrutineering declaration form to FIA technical delegate Joe Bauer. The team have revealed that there was a concern about the fuel cell. Verstappen finished Friday's Action 0.8 test behind pace-setter Lewis Hamilton. Next news: FP3, Hamilton quickest as Williams' woes continue. Lewis Hamilton claimed the practice hat-trick for the Australian Grand Prix in a FP3 session that saw no respite for Williams. As the sun baked down on the Albert Park circuit, Max Verstappen led the way in his new chassis at least at the 20-minute mark. Red Bull broke curfew overnight to hand the Dutchman a new chassis due to a concern with the fuel cell in his Friday chassis. It was easier to change chassis than to replace the fuel tank. He posted a 1:24.944 on the medium to sit on top at the 20-minute mark, but was pipped by Sebastian Vettel as Ferrari and Mercedes came out to play. The German clocked a 1:23.739 to go quickest but lost out to Hamilton. The Brit, who is chasing a record 8th pole in Melbourne, was 4 faster. Hamilton upped his pace to a 1:23.360 to extend his advantage while Bottas made it a Mercedes 1-2. Unfortunately for Williams, their woes continued with Robert Kubica, who earlier had to take avoiding action when Lando Norris blocked him in the pits, having even more troubles in the pits. He hit the wall on the way in, a hefty whack with the left side of the car that caused bits of bodywork to break off his FW42. Back in the action and with fresh soft tires on his SF90, Vettel went purple in all three sectors to finish up with a best time of 1:22.556. That put him P1, however, as with before, that didn't last long as again Hamilton had an answer, a 1:22.292. The reigning world champion finished FP30.264s ahead of Vettel while Charles Leclerc was a further 0.2 off the pace. Next news: McLaren fined for unsafely releasing Norris. McLaren have the dubious honor of being the first team fined this season, handing a €5,000 fine for the unsafe release of Lando Norris during FP3 in Melbourne. Putting in the final hour of workout on track before qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix, McLaren were eager to get Norris out, perhaps too eager. The team released the British rookie into the path of Robert Kubica, who was forced to take action to avoid hitting the McLaren. The Woking team and Norris were summoned to the steward's office after FP3, where the team reportedly admitted wrongdoing. McLaren were handed a €5,000. Next news: Williams didn't expect to be so far off the pace. Slowest of all by some margin in Melbourne, Claire Williams admits she knew it would be tough, she just didn't expect it to be quite this bad. Williams finished both Friday sessions bottom of the timesheets, and it was more of the same on Saturday in final practice. George Russell was the fastest of the team's two drivers, but even his 1:25.944 was 1.4s slower than P18, Lando Norris in the McLaren. As for Robert Kubica, he had an eventful session as he was blocked in the pits by Norris before whacking the wall as he entered the pits later in the session. His best time was a 1:26.589. It's not been the start that we hoped for, but probably one that we expected. RaceFans.net reports the deputy team boss Williams as having told Sky Sports F1. "We knew that it was going to be tough. We knew that it was going to be difficult from the outset. I don't think we thought we were going to be as far off the pace as we are, and that is going to be difficult for us to try and claw back. But that's what we do at Williams. We fight and we keep on fighting, and we won't give up until we make changes and to deliver greater performance. And we need to do that because we've got great drivers in George and Robert." Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.